This is the BLUETTI AC70. The real headline for me is simple. It charges from the wall blazingly fast, and it gives me enough clean power to keep actual essentials running when the lights go out or when I am off the grid for a weekend. I put this in the portable power station category, the kind of box you grab when you want quiet, battery-based power for camping, road trips, backyard projects, or short outages at home. I'm not trying to run an entire house. I'm trying to keep a fan moving, a laptop alive, a phone and a camera charged, and sometimes a small cooler or a compact refrigerator humming. If that sounds like your life too, this hits a very practical sweet spot. The design feels like someone thought about what it is like to carry and live with a device like this. The handle is molded into the top, so when I pick it up there are no flexi parts or creaks. The shell is tough acrylonitrile butadiene styrene plastic, and it has shrugged off a couple of bumps against a shed door and one drop onto grass without drama. The weight is about 22.5 pounds. That is not feather light, but it is a very manageable single-hand carry from the car to a campsite or from a closet to the patio. The sides have vents that I try to keep free of dust. The rubber covers over the ports snap in tightly, which matters when you are around sand, dirt, or light rain. Little touches help in daily use, like the shallow tray on top where I can set my phone or a flashlight while cables are plugged in, and it does not slide around. Setup took me less time than opening the cardboard box. I plugged it into a wall outlet with a standard cable, no bulky power brick, waited a few seconds, and the liquid crystal display came to life. It shows charge level, power coming in, power going out, and a really helpful estimate of remaining time at the current usage. That last bit is gold. When I am running a fan on a hot day or charging a camera battery while editing, seeing a realistic hours number lets me pace myself. The screen goes to sleep after a while to save energy, and a tap brings it back. Charging speed from the wall is one of the most impressive parts. From 0 to about 80% takes around 45 minutes in my testing. A full charge lands around an hour and a half. For me, that means I can plug it in while I make lunch, and by the time I am packing the car, it is basically ready. There is no separate charging brick to forget or lose. It is one sturdy cable that goes straight from the wall to the unit. Solar charging has been equally straightforward. I use 2 medium panels, and on a clear summer day I can feed close to 500 watts into the solar input. That fills the battery in roughly 2 hours, give or take. BLUETTI quotes around 1.9 to 2.4 hours, and my best sunny session was just under 2.5. Clouds stretch that out, but having the option to top up from the sun changes what a weekend off the grid feels like. No fumes, no noise, and no fuel runs. On the front, there are enough outputs to cover my regular gear without daisy chains or extra hubs. I get 2 alternating current outlets for regular plugs, 2 universal serial bus type C ports for modern devices, 2 universal serial bus type A ports for older cables, and a 12-volt car style socket that has been great for a portable air compressor and a small cooler. Everything is laid out so I can see what is in use at a glance, and the power buttons for each section mean I only energize what I actually need. In day-to-day use, it behaves like a mature product. Power delivery is consistent, and it does not stutter when loads change. The internal fan is quiet. I mostly notice it only in a silent room when the unit is working hard or charging fast from the wall. Heat is handled well, and the case never gets more than warm to the touch. The battery inside uses lithium iron phosphate chemistry, which is a safer, longer life option compared to typical lithium ion. It is rated for around 3,000 full charge cycles before the capacity drops to about 80%. In plain terms, I do not feel like I am burning through the battery by using it regularly. I expect to keep this for years. I also tried the companion smartphone application. It connects over Bluetooth. The application lets me tweak settings, check status from the tent or the next room, and update the battery management system when BLUETTI pushes improvements. I have had a couple of moments where it did not reconnect immediately on launch, but it usually sorts itself out within a few seconds. I can live with that because it is not critical to operation. All of the core controls are on the device itself. Real-world testing is where this won me over. During a recent neighborhood outage on a 95-degree afternoon, I plugged in a large box fan and set up in the shade. The fan ran for around 6 hours before the battery even hit the halfway mark, and I topped off my phone and a Bluetooth speaker at the same time. I did not once stare at a blinking light and wonder how long I had left. The display told me. That felt calm and practical rather than stressful. On a weekend camping trip, I set up 2 panels in the morning, charged cameras, a drone battery, and a tablet over universal serial bus Type-C, and then used the alternating current outlet to run a small induction cooktop for quick coffee. That cooker is not something I would run for long stretches, but for short bursts it worked. Later, I switched the alternating current off and left only universal serial bus power on to stretch the battery through the evening. Carrying it a couple hundred feet from the car to the site was fine. I would not want to hike miles with it, but for car camping, it is exactly the right balance. A small use case that keeps popping up is the 12-volt car socket. I have a portable tire inflator that plugs right in, and it is great to top off tires without idling a car. I have also used that socket for a compact cooler in the trunk on a grocery run, with the BLUETTI tucked behind the seat. It is quieter than any car idling, and it keeps cold things cold without hassle. On the design side, I appreciate the way the port covers keep dust at bay. The top tray sounds minor, but when you are charging a phone and a headlamp in a tent, having a place to put them where the cables are not pulling them off the edge is oddly valuable. The way the screen times out on its own saves a little energy and stops the glow from lighting up a room at night. There are a few things worth knowing. The capacity is 768 watt-hours. That is generous for a compact unit, but it will not run a full-sized refrigerator through the night or power heavy-duty tools for hours. It is perfect for fans, lights, laptops, cameras, and a mini fridge, not an entire kitchen. You cannot add extra batteries to expand it later. Some larger systems do that, but this one is fixed. That is fine for my use, though it is something to consider if you are planning whole home backup. The weight is reasonable for what it does, but if you are used to tiny power banks, be ready for something more substantial. Also, solar speeds depend heavily on the weather. On a hazy day, expect it to take longer than that 2-hour figure. The most unique part of the experience has been how little friction there is. No external charger to keep track of. Wall charging that gets me from empty to almost full during a lunch break. A battery that should last thousands of uses without me babying it. A display that gives me the numbers that matter, like real-time usage and a believable estimate of hours remaining. And a set of ports that cover modern universal serial bus devices and old ones, without me packing a bag of adapters. If you are a camper, a road trip person, a content creator who edits in the field, a homeowner who wants something quiet to get through a short outage, or just someone who likes the idea of clean portable power without fumes or noise, I would absolutely consider the BLUETTI AC70. If you need to run a big refrigerator all night or power an entire workshop, you should look at a larger system. For me, this has landed in that sweet spot of performance, portability, and thought-out design that actually helps day after day. If you want more honest reviews like this, hit subscribe so you do not miss the next video, and drop a comment with any questions about how I use the BLUETTI AC70 or what you want to see tested next. Thank you for watching.